so nice as a preacher / Bible college professor's kid to be on this side of Good Morning Church. I can guarantee you that for once, I will not be the sermon illustration. Great feeling. But even though my dad uses me as a sermon illustration, he also has planted the idea in me that God has formed me with a purpose. From when I was very little, my first days of elementary school drop-off to my last days of high school, he told me, God is doing big things in you. And though sometimes it was easy to be like, I gotta go out the car, thank you, love you, bye. That small message, God is doing big things in you, is now planted in me. I know my life is not left up to chance. It has purpose. And that's not just for me, it's for all the lives in this room. This semester at youth group, we've been talking about a very similar idea of being formed with both a be and a do. And the be is the first part I want to talk to you about. So I have this coffee cup. I got it at Silver Dollar City. And you get to watch as the potters make the mugs, and each one is unique and different. They are formed with a purpose. And then in the same way, God crafts us. We are each unique and different. My coffee mug might be filled with something like a love of reading and writing and running, even though the last one is not so popular. But it's beautiful. We're each unique and wonderful. These are not the interests of all people. What I like might be not what you like. All mugs or people are different, but they're each lovingly crafted by God with dignity. B is the image of God. We have value and dignity because we are made on purpose. God created, formed, and handcrafted us into his kids. And that love and care that he put into forming us is demonstrated in Psalm 119, 13 through 16. It says, "For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, that I know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes beheld my unformed substance. In your book were written all the days that were formed for me, when none of them as yet existed." When reading this passage, all I can think about is how wonderful and crazy and beautiful it is that the God who formed the universe also formed the smallest parts of me and you. Even before we were born, this passage shows us that we were formed with a purpose. We have value because the smallest parts of ourselves are formed by the same God that created the whole world. From the very beginning of the Bible, God created mankind in his own image. And even though thousands of years have passed since Genesis, that fact doesn't change. Our B is that whoever we are, whatever we've done, we are formed by God with love. And that fact alone gives us dignity and value. Each of us have a B, but along with our B, we also have a do. Just like this coffee cup, we have a purpose. We each have a calling by God. We have a thing, an action, and a way of life that we are meant to live out. Jesus understands this idea and passed it along to his disciples when teaching them on the Sermon on the Mount. Matthew 5, 14 through 16. "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." The light talked about in Matthew, in this passage, is not a hidden light. It's open for everyone to see. D.A. Carson, in his commentary on the Sermon on the Mount, says it this way: "It is impossible to follow the norms of the kingdom in a purely private way." When Jesus used this image of light, he was prompting his disciples to understand the conviction that the world needs them publicly. In this time period that Jesus is speaking into, they didn't have light switches. You couldn't just go to the wall and the room was suddenly lit up. Light required energy, and it required oil, and it required money and effort to create. In the same way that our spiritual lights need that same energy. But in this time period that Jesus is talking into, once that light was lit, it was open for everyone to see, and it shone brightly so that so many people could see it, because light was not common. That's beautiful. That's the same sort of spiritual light that Jesus is calling us to be. Robert Gulick wrote, "Discipleship means living one's life in relationship to God and to others so that God's life-changing role might become evident to others." We, as the church, as a body of believers, are called to be light, to show others the life that they can find in Jesus. Jesus is the main source of light, what we are called to point to. And just as a night lamp gives just enough illumination to find the light switch, we are called to be the night lamps so that people can find the light of Jesus. In the Bible, the Apostle Paul is a perfect example of an earthly light pointing to God's heavenly light. Paul poured light into both Timothy and Titus. He showed them God's light. He commissioned them, counseled them, and looked out for them, and they in turn were able to give light to thousands of people. Paul was able to shine in lives that he never saw because he was willing to pour light into others. Our calling, our due, is to bring light to others, to reflect well the life of the Savior. Light dispels the darkness of this world. And personally, I have a great illustration for this. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I love the Lord of the Rings. It's the best. Thank you for whoever clapped. It's the best. And in the second book, Frodo and Sam are in the cave of the Shelob. It's a giant spider. And Frodo's burden, his ring, just keeps growing heavier as they grow closer to their goal. They've lost all their companions, and suddenly everything gets 10 times worse as they figure out that they've been led to their deaths. And it's dark, and there's no way out. And then Frodo realizes he has this light that he got from the elves. And suddenly this really dark situation that there was no hope for, and they thought they were going to die with this spider. Suddenly, it's not so dark. There's now hope. And they're able to make it out. And just like in our own lives, it's not just in this cave. Light dispels the darkness and brings hope. I hope you remember that we are formed with a purpose. Keep being a light that shines people's path to God. For me, one of the people that has poured a lot of light into my life is my youth group leader, Colleen. She's been guiding me for the past several years, but her impact on my life goes far beyond the walls of the church. Up on the screen here, you will see a picture of her and I at my last home track meet, my senior night. She didn't just come, she brought me these beautiful flowers and cheered me on through every race. She is one of the people who took God's light. Because light dispels the darkness in a world of sin. And she passed it on to me, that I might pass it on to others. An action as simple as showing up like Colleen can have a monumental impact in someone's life. You never know what action will light someone's way to Christ or what impact it will make. Keep shining God's light. You never know who you will touch. God handcrafted us before our first breath. That craftsmanship, that love, was made so that we might share God's light with others. We must also remember, however, that others have shed that light on us, and to keep spreading that light to more people. Jesus is our main light source. It is the origin point, but there must be people to lead to the central light that is Jesus. I want to be someone who leads that light to others, and I hope you will join me in this. Just like this light bulb gives light to the room, we must go out into the world and spread light to others. You were formed to be a light, so keep on shining brightly. Who are you going to pass your light onto?